Hey guys, today we're just going to be talking about some of the knives I've made in the past. Make sure you stay to the end of the video. I've got a reminder about the giveaway. Hi guys, this is Chris. Welcome to Bum Talk, the Knife Bums version of Knife Banter. The first blade I'm featuring here is just a full tang fixed blade knife I made a while back. This blade is featuring 1095 high carbon steel. This is an absolute excellent knife steel, although it is prone to rust. It is a little bit harder to heat treat at home, so I probably wouldn't recommend it for the beginner unless you're going to be sending your blades out to be heat treated professionally. I played around with a lot of different designs. I ended up coming up with this. I think it's very unique. One aspect that I would probably change is if you notice the center of the handle is a little bit skinnier. It kind of looks a little odd in that area. But overall, I think it achieved my uniqueness that I was going for with this design. I think it feels very well in the hand. It does fit in multiple positions. Overall, it's a very skinny design, a very skinny blade. So if you like those chunkier blade handles, you probably wouldn't like this. The handle scales are simply olive drab and black micarta. I love this combination together. And the pins are simply two pieces of copper pipe drilled all the way through for a see-through design. Very unique. Up next, I have an adventure I tried in making a liner lock. It's actually kind of a cross between a friction folder and a liner lock knife. I guess it would be more accurate to say a frame lock instead of a liner lock, but I do have part of a scale on top of that side of the liner, so technically it would be a liner lock. This isn't one of the best knives I made, but it's still one of my favorites. I just love the overall look and feel of this knife. This was an old table saw blade. This could be a good material for you if you're just getting started and you don't want to purchase anything to play around and stuff. It makes a decent blade. You want to make sure you get the old stuff that doesn't have the welded on carbide tips on it. Most of the time, these old blades are going to be some sort of carbon steel. They do have a lot of different mixes with chromium and different things depending on which blade you get. From my research, it seems a lot of them are L6. I've also used old saw blades just for the liner of this knife. On each side I have wood. On one side I have, I believe, some old oak. And the other side is some softwood, probably a mix of pine and fir or something like that. I'm not exactly sure. I personally really like the design element of the partial wood handle slabs going on top of the polished metal scale. For the hardware, I just used some old screws. Nothing fancy, just stuff I found from old projects or stuff laying around. I did try to put some washers under the pivot pin to make it look a little bit more fancy. I think I have a copper washer or something under the main washer on top that you see. For the wood slabs handle scales, I've either cut around some of the hardware or drilled through some of it and countersunk it just to give it a good feel. For the backspacer, I just used a spare piece of copper that I had laying around. Okay, we have the final knife of this episode. This is a friction folder I made. Designed it and influenced from the style of Michael Morris friction folders. He's a great knife maker. You guys should check him out when you get a chance. For this knife, I used aluminum for the handle. I've drilled through all the hardware and sanded off flush. I love the look of how smooth everything came out. For the backspacer, I just glued together some pieces of plastic from an old broken clipboard that I had laying around before discarding the rest. I wanted something very unique to give it a splash of color. I think it really does give it some pop on this knife. If you're looking to start a knife or get into knife making, using an old file is a good place to start. A lot of times you can find them at flea markets or some sort of thrift or pawn shop or something relatively inexpensively. This knife happens to be made from an old file. Okay, that concludes this episode of Bum Talk. Thank you for letting me share some of the work that I've made in the past. I have more coming in the future to show off to you guys. I hope also that I've inspired some of you to get out there and start creating things, whether it's knives or anything else creative, any artwork that you guys might be into. Thank you. Show off. Hey guys, we got one more week left in our knife giveaway, this handmade custom friction folder. So make sure you guys are entering for that, for your chance to win this custom handmade knife.
Yeah.